Hey, what's up guys? Nick from Bruckman Media. So I just wanted to go over my Slog2 workflow and share with you guys some of the information that I've learned about it. So before that, I highly recommend going through all the videos and literature by Suraj Sudhakaran, who goes by Wolf Crow. You see that here. I'm on his YouTube page. You know, go to his website, ton of stuff there. And Alistair Chapman goes into great detail and definitely worth it. So to touch on both of these methods, the Wolf Crow method. His method is to overexpose by 3 stops to reduce the max amount of noise. So, I mean, the good is you'll have little to no noise for most of your image, but it's important to remember that any part of the image that meters under 40 IRE will produce color noise. So carefully check your waveform monitor when you set exposure. Alistair Chapman suggests overexposing by up to 2 stops over the Sony recommended exposure. So with every stop you overexpose, there's definitely a useful reduction of noise, and I'll show you that soon. But the problem with shooting 3 stops over with the Wolf Crow method is that you'll start to see some loss in brighter textures and skin tones. So some of that bright detail will start to disappear. So for another reference, you could use your 70% zebra to expose for skin when you're shooting log. All right, so this is what I use to build all of my 3D utility LUTs to convert my footage, and they've been the best results I've seen so far. I've tried other third-party LUTs, and this has worked out the best. So we'll start up at the top here, go to camera, select my a7s Mark II, stop correction. Now we all know you need to overexpose S-Log footage to get it to look good. So if I were to overexpose by 2 stops, I could compensate for that right here. And you can see in the graph, this will update in real time and show you a visual reference of your gamma curve as you make these adjustments. So moving on, we'll go to our record gamma, Sony, choose Slog2, record gamut, that is basically just our color space. I'm gonna leave that at S gamma 3 cine. Out gamma, so let's see, we'll choose Sony. And I'm going to pick Rec 709, 800%. And you could see our gamma curve change as a result. Out gamma. This I'll leave it all. This you can really mess around with. You can try different profiles and see what you like best. I've used LC 709 before, and I guess, and that's just a slightly less intense version of Rec 709. Slightly less saturation and contrast. Red color 3 is another one of my favorites. So, you know, you could just mess around with this, put it on your footage, see what you like, see what you don't like. For our purposes, I'm going to leave it at Rec 709. Customization, I don't change much. White balance, if you're not converting from one different color temperature to another, then you don't need to mess with this. Here is where I made a slight adjustment, and this was based on my personal preference. I feel that the yellow in the in this color space is a little too strong. So what I did was bring the saturation down, not by much, but about 0.81 I found to be perfect. That lowered it just a little bit, not too much. One more thing I changed is the black level here. And we'll lock that value at about 3% IRE, so you won't actually crush any of your blacks. And let's see, that's about it for that column. You know, you can give your LUT a name up here. So what I did was first use the profile, Slog2. I believe this one's gonna be 2, because it is 2 stops overexposed. And you could put your output gamma, just so you know. So 709, 800, followed by my color space, just so I know what's what. And we're gonna use this for grading, so you'll wanna select this, 65 option. If you're gonna just use it as a monitoring LUT, you could use this, but we're gonna keep this here. All right, so we're not gonna change our input and output range. And what this means is that basically we have information over 100 IRE here. Obviously, that information is not going to come across in a broadcast situation. And to show you what I mean, if I were to change this, If I were to change this to, let's see, more of a broadcast ready signal. Okay, you see that changes to legal, so you know it's right. And you can also see the gamma curve here doesn't exceed 100 IRE. So put that back. I'll just leave these alone. Generate LUT. You save that. I guess I'll show you quick where to put that. So to install that in Premiere, which is what I'm using, we'll go to Premiere, right click, show package contents, go to Lumetri, LUTs, and here you go. So I would put those right here in the technical folder. So that way you can de-LUT your footage, and if you want to design some other LUTs for different looks, you can put those in the creative folder, and that way after you de-LUT everything, you can mess around with your looks and yeah, play around that way. So just to show you what I did, I'm just going to reset everything. This is my base exposure, so it's not overexposed at all. So go to Lumetri. I'm going to find my LUT, Slog2, 0, that's a base exposure, and Rec 709. Okay, already looking much better. So now you can start adjusting things in your NLE. Add more contrast. Bring those blacks down. Maybe the shadows a touch. Yeah, so this looks pretty good. This is pretty close to what it looks like outside right now. All right, and to show you what I meant before, that anything under 40 IRE will produce color noise. If you look at this waveform here, you can see that quite a bit of the image is under 40 IRE, and it looks like mostly everything under this tree line here. So let's take a look at what that noise is going to look like. I'm going to punch in. Oh, set this here, punch into 400%, and let's take a look. Okay, so you could see there's color noise and grain is pretty bad. It doesn't look as bad, you know, out far like this, but once you punch in, I mean, you could really kind of see what's going on. This is a base exposure, so it's pretty noisy. So let's take a look at the next clip. I overexposed this one by 1 stop. I already made similar adjustments, so I'm just going to punch in. And we're going to take a look here. All right, you can already see that the grain is much better, much cleaner. There's less color noise, just overall a better image. So that's definitely cleaning things up a bit. So let's move on to the next clip. Here I overexposed by 2 stops. So yeah, even more of a reduction. I mean, there's almost no color noise. The grain is way, way reduced. This looks a lot better. Definitely a lot cleaner. So it looks great. And to show you what I mean again here, I'm going to turn off this LUT. And we can see on my waveform meter here that most of the image is above 40 IRE. So that's good. That means we're going to get a pretty noise-free image, as you just saw. And I think it worked out pretty well. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope you guys learned something, and until next time, I will see you later.